everyone. Welcome back to Candid Convos with Anna B. Today, I've got one of the ladies that also inspire me, Rufaro. Hey, Rufaro.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
Rufaro is one of the people that inspire me. As I mentioned, that I'm going to be interviewing a few ladies who I love to learn from. And last week we had Lucy, who did such an amazing job of sharing her story. And I hope today you guys will be inspired by Rufaro. So to start off, we'll ask Rufaro to tell us a little about herself.
Okay, sure. So my name is Rufaro. I am a content creator. I create content on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel called Work It Out with Rufaro. I'm also married, and I'm a mother of two, just getting the boring stuff out of the way. I do run my own online business, which I sell homeware. It's called Layla Len, but I'm only selling here in South Africa. I do ship to other countries such as Zimbabwe, but at the moment, I'm mainly here based in South Africa. I work for my husband as well, who owns his own software business. And that's basically it. That is what I do 9 to 5 every single day.
Thank you so much, Rufaro. Guys, Rufaro is hardworking. Sometimes I even see her on her status just writing, me, I'm a hardworking person, and she ain't joking. Like she said, her channel is doing so well and her content creation. Guys, she does her research. So if you want to learn more about the countries to study in, businesses to do online, she actually shares a lot of that on her channel. Like her channel is a great way to educate yourself. And I'm also really big on saying to people, you need to continuously learn. And Rufaro is doing an amazing job. Okay, so Rufaro, tell us, what made you decide to leave your full-time job? Because this is something that a lot of people are scared to do. The safety that comes with getting a monthly salary. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so the decision to leave a full-time job wasn't something that I just sort of made like overnight or anything like that. It was when I was working in Zimbabwe. I was working for a big corporate company, and my husband and I decided to move to South Africa. And when we moved here, the goal for me was that I still wanted to work in corporate. But I think within a few months going into it, I realized that no, South Africa can give me a lot of options. I can make money online and it will make sense. I can work from home and I'll still be able to pay the bills. I can still take my kids to school. I can work my own hours. I can allow myself to be creative without the restrictions that come with working within a corporate environment. So even though I still miss corporate, I realized that it's not really for me, because I like to create my own content. I like to be creative, and I like to run my own business and be able to make decisions on my own and be able to sort of steer myself in a path that works for me. So I'm the one who actually followed my husband, because my husband had quit corporate like maybe 3 years prior, and he hasn't worked in corporate for such a long time. And then I realized, I could see the way that he was, pulling everything together, and he was making it work. And I was like, if he can do it, then I can do it. And that's just basically how it started. And I haven't looked back. I haven't worked in corporate in over 3 years. I've been working from home. And when actually the pandemic hit and we were all at home, I think my husband and I, as much as we felt it, because, when you're running your own business, it also means that sometimes your financial status is not as stable as someone who has a steady income. If you decide that on a Friday you want to be lazy, you'll still get your paycheck at the end of the month and nothing will be amiss. But for us, it's not the same. We have to put in whatever we have to every single day, whether it's Monday to Monday, Sunday to Sunday. But when the pandemic hit, we realized that we were actually coping better than most people, because we had been working from home for 2 years anyway. And we didn't even feel the difference in terms of adjusting to having to work from home. So for me, that's what made me leave corporate. And now I'm just working from home, and that is how we do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I wanted to say to you, obviously, content creation is about being creative. Is it something you had in your bones where you're like, I'm naturally good at content creation, or it's something you had to learn? Because I find people who be like, oh, I wish I was Rufaro in a day, but they actually don't realize you had to go through a process to get those number of subscribers, get people to know about you. So can you tell us a little of what you had to learn to get there, or was it a natural thing for you?
Okay, so my journey with content creation and, discovering that, I think I've got a creative side, actually started when I was back in university. I remember I did this program. I think there's a course that we did, or module. I think it was called electronic marketing. I don't remember, but that was in 2007 or 2008, somewhere there. And I remember one of the tasks that we had was to design a website, like a mock website. We presented within class, and that becomes whatever grade you had would actually contribute to your to the end of the year mark. And I did exceptionally well. When I enjoyed designing my website, I enjoyed designing my own logo, putting everything together. And I actually remember my lecturer saying, "I know you say you love management, but I think you should go into web design or electronic marketing." Then they were still calling it electronic marketing. Now it's known as digital marketing. And that's when I think I can do this. And then I also went into my obsession with PowerPoint designs. And then I joined Fiverr. I joined Fiverr, I think. I joined Fiverr, I think around 2015, 2016 there. So Fiverr is an online platform where you can sign up and you can do freelance work. It's just the same as People Per Hour and freelancer.com. So I joined Fiverr, and then I started creating pitch decks and PowerPoint designs for people online. And I would get paid $5 for for 5 slides, or $10 for 5 slides. And then I realized, okay, so people actually think I can do this. And where I was working, the company that I was working for, I remember one of my managers saying, "I think I've seen you talk about creating PowerPoint presentations. I've got a presentation that I need to do for people. Can you do one for me?" And that's just basically how it started. And I realized, okay, I can do this. And I became like the resident PowerPoint guru. And I decided, you know what, I think I've got this creative side in me. So when the pandemic hit, my husband and I were bored stiff, because as much as we were used to working from home, we had no other activities to do. And then we decided, you know what, let's just create a YouTube channel and then just have fun with it. So you find that even if you go on my channels, the stuff that we used to talk about is just random things. There wasn't really a particular, a content to say, okay, now I'm focusing on business only. We spoke about marriage, we did fun things just for the fun of it, and I just got hooked. But with regards to content creation, I can say that I've had to learn. I watch a lot of tutorials. I sign up for a lot of online courses just for me to learn how to edit, for me to learn how to find free background music, how to find B-roll videos that I can use within my own videos. And as I discovered that, my channel is growing, but because I'm not really the type of person where I like to just take pictures of myself and take videos of myself all day long. It was practically just exhausting having to wake up and put on makeup and set up lighting and do sound checks. And then I realized I still like to create content, but not with the effort of having to put my face, So I then did research on how I can still continue to create content on YouTube without having to show my face. Then I realized, there are a lot of other channels that are doing really well, that have millions and millions of subscribers, that do faceless YouTube content. And then from there on, it took off. So I remember my first faceless video, I was so concerned, thinking, are people going to watch this? Are people going to like this? Because they're just so used to having to see me. Now they're just going to have to sort of get used to my voice. If my voice is not soothing, relaxing, or fun, the people are just not going to, finish watching the videos. So the first video that I did, I think it was how to shop in Turkey. And that has done so well. I think maybe now it's around 90,000 views. It just keeps growing. Yeah, it just keeps just generating leads for me for my channel. And then ever since, I haven't looked back. So once in a while, I do show my face in my videos, but mainly I'm just doing faceless content creation.
Thank you for that. I guess it also helps with people who say they're introverts, they're shy to be on camera, to say you can actually be behind the scenes and just do the content creation. And when it comes to your online business, how do you go about it? Because obviously you need to be willing to go out there and actually do the advertising and doing that and just getting people to know about you. And I'd love to know, how did you get your clients? Did you ever go through a period where you're like, oh my gosh, I am quitting, I'm done, the effort that I need to put in this? Because you mentioned something when we began the video where you were like, yes, you have days where you can relax, but also sometimes it means Sundays you have to work, depending on what you need in that month. So maybe you can encourage someone who's got an online business or who's thinking of starting it, who's like, I'm done. It's been a month. I'm done. It's so hard. Yeah. So tell us about that.
Okay. So my online store journey actually started maybe a couple of years ago. There was this platform called Zopper, where you could sign up and then you could set up your own little mini store. And it was just basically an online marketing place. So I joined that platform and I was selling hair, clothing, and beauty cosmetics. And as much as I mean, women love selling things like that because we also love buying them. But then I realized, as much as I love selling these things, the market is so saturated. There's another market that's sort of neglected, and that's your homeware. And not particularly kitchen, not forks, not knives, not dinner plates and stuff like that, but homeware in terms of home decor, cushions and stuff like that. They're just your basic home accessories. So when I was on that platform, I realized that for my niche, I was making quite a lot of money as compared to the other people that I had also on the platform who were selling cosmetics, who were selling shoes, who were selling clothing, hair, weaves, all that type of stuff. And then when the platform didn't succeed, it actually failed. I think within a year, it actually failed. And then I decided I do want to start my own online business. So I took a year to research on what it takes to start an online business within South Africa. What do I need to sign up for? And I remember taking I don't even know how many courses. And I even signed up for this academy that I'm still a part of, where there's a lot of online store owners who are based in South Africa, but they're also not just selling within South Africa, but within the United States, Australia, everywhere else around the world. And for me, I think what really made me decide, you know what, I'm going to do this was because every single year I have a vision board and I write down what I need to do. So the goal was to make sure that this store was up by October last year. And I just started. I didn't have stock with me. I think I only had 4 products to start with. And sometimes I think the mistake that people make when they want to start an online business, they're thinking they must have 100 products to sell. They must have this huge catalog to attract customers. But all you need, to be honest, sometimes is just one good product. One product that drives the traffic. And then all the other products that you're selling become complementary to say, oh, they're selling these vases, but they also have nice cushions. Now let me buy that as well. So because I had experience at the platform, the online marketing platform that then failed, I used everything that I had learned from that to bring into my business. So I actually had a list of customers that used to buy from my other online store. And when I launched my store, I reached out to all of them to say, hey, I'm back. I now have my own online store, and you can now shop and you can now get your things from me directly without having to worry about all the other stuff. And this is really how it started. And I think my biggest learning curve with regards to having an online store is that just start. I know it sounds very simple and just sounds very shallow to say, okay, how do you just start? You know, just getting a domain is maybe less than $10, $5, or even $1 to buy a domain. And then there are multiple platforms that you can sign up for to start an online platform. You've got Shopify, you've got WooCommerce, you've got Equid, you've got Zoho Commerce. There are so many platforms that you can research on to say, I still want to start an online store, but this is my budget. What can I work with? And for me, what worked with the business model that I had in mind was Shopify. But I also have friends who are selling on Equid. I also have friends who are selling using Zoho Commerce. So you still have options. And I only had 4 products. And as I started selling my products, I also started to see, their competitors, what are they also selling on Instagram? And then I researched where they're getting their products from. And then I started deciding, okay, so what can I also sell to make my stuff more competitive? So you find that on my store, I have stock that I sell directly from me, and then I also drop ship as well.
Thank you so much. And from what you were saying, Correct me if I'm wrong. So one, you did your research. Two, you made sure that you're willing to also look at your competitors, to also learn from the way they were doing things. And I like what you mentioned about the research, because sometimes we want something without actually finding out what we need. So like you were talking about spending a year actually making a vision board and everything, which is very important to always have a plan so that you make sure you're aligned with your plan. So thank you so much for sharing that. I was thinking in my head, this is like literally a free masterclass from Rufaro.
Oh my gosh, I could go on. Like this year, I've actually committed myself to say, I think I'm going to start creating content around how to start your own online store. Because I get a lot of people who still come to me and they ask me, how did you do it? And one thing that I do know is that some people, there are a lot of people that actually discourage because they're thinking you need to have a lot of money to start. Starting the online store is half the work. Most of the work comes from the marketing. So you find that you spend even 3,000 rands, 4,000 rands. I've got, brands that I know that are spending more than 25,000 rands just on digital marketing. And so I'm talking about marketing on Pinterest, on Facebook, on YouTube, social media, on Google. And that is where most of your time will go. So for me, I used my YouTube platform. I used my channel to attract traffic to my store. I used my existing Facebook page and my existing Instagram. I don't even have a lot of followers. I've got like 1,000 followers maybe on Instagram, which is just basic considering that most, niche marketers have maybe 5,000 or 10,000 followers on Instagram. I only have 1,000, which is probably, but the majority would be my immediate friends and family. And then people would then know me and stuff like that. So you'd find that on my channel, on my Shopify store, 20% of the traffic came from my YouTube channel. So these are my viewers who watch my content, and then I talk about, I've got an online store. If you want to buy homeware, there's the link, and then you can visit my store. And that's how I started getting more traffic to my store and getting more sales to my store. So right now, I've actually paused my store because I couldn't handle the traffic. I'm working from home. I've got a 3-year-old who's not yet going to preschool. And then I've got a 7-year-old. When she comes back, she needs help with homework. I'm a wife and I've got a job where I work for my husband. And then I've got a YouTube channel. So I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm burning my candle on both ends, So when you discover that, okay, I need to slow down and see how I'm going to make sure that I don't crash and burn. So right now, if you go to my website, the store is paused, not because I'm not selling, I'm selling offline, but I just couldn't handle the traffic anymore. So I am in the process of looking for a partner, and so that I can have someone to share the load, because I've just been doing everything by myself. So you'd find that orders come in around midnight. And with me, I've got my, you need to be honest with your customers to say, if someone buys from you, when am I going to get my product? Is my product coming within 5 days, within 3 days, and so on? So for me, I make sure that, if on my website, it's mainly within 5 days. Within a week, you have your product. So I'm not going to, delay or then send you an email to say, I'm sorry, I couldn't deliver. So I'd have emails, I'd have orders coming in at midnight or 2 a.m. in the morning. And then I wake up, then I'm thinking, okay, so how do I need to fulfill this order? And then make sure that within a week, I've managed to fulfill. And all my orders are sort of customized. So you find that another reason why my business has been growing and why people keep coming back to me is because I've got personalized notes. So for each and every order that comes through, I sit down and I write on my fancy paper, and then I put in my fancy card to say, thank you so much for shopping from me. I hope that you should like this. And then if I've got any additional goodies that I can pack within the order, anything that's complimentary, then I also pack in within that order. And then you find that a lot of people then come back and then leave reviews. And then they say, I was so excited I got my order within the time, because people don't trust small businesses. And that's something that you know with online business. It's all about trust. If someone comes on your website and then you're saying you're selling a shoe, the shoe must be exactly the way it is on the pictures. You can't lie or elaborate, and just try to exaggerate how the product looks like. Because when then someone then gets the product and they're not happy, then they're not going to buy from you again, or they're just going to go and write a nasty review. And thank God so far I haven't had any bad reviews. They've just been good reviews. And it's something that I think has helped my business to grow.
Thank you so much for sharing that, which goes to my next question. You talked about making sure that you don't burn out. And I was going to ask, how do you take care of your mental health? Because that is something a lot of people struggle with when it comes to starting your own business or putting boundaries. Some people 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., they're still up. And in the morning, they want to survive on 2 hours of sleep. So maybe you can help by telling us how you make sure you're also taking care of your mental health.
I'm such a big advocate for mental health. I really believe that it's one of those important discussions that we need to continue to have, particularly in the Black community, because it's not something that people openly talk about, but a lot of people are going through the most. And I, for one, also have experienced, mental health issues, particularly when we relocated to South Africa. I was struggling to fit in because I just missed my hectic corporate life. And then now I was trying to adjust to having a different type of setup. So for me, I already know my triggers are pressure, and I don't like things that are disorganized. When things start happening haphazardly, it becomes very hectic for me to manage. Even though you can't always control every single aspect that's going to happen within the course of your day, I found that for me, planning and keeping myself organized is what really works for me to make sure that my mental health is in check. So if I know that I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock and I'll be working for Infolytics, which is my husband's company, and I finish, let's say, at 5 p.m., then I know between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., there's a routine. So I thrive on routine, and routine sort of helps me to manage my mental health. And I always make sure I sleep at the same time every single day. I sleep at 10 p.m. Without a fail, every day I sleep at 10 p.m. So that when I wake up tomorrow morning at 4 or at 5 a.m., I've already gotten my 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Because a lot of people, I think, they think, oh, if I wake up at 4 a.m. and that means I'm a boss babe, I can handle it. No, you don't have to wake up early every single day to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. Because remember, when you start your day at 4 a.m., the rest of the world is going to start their day at 8 a.m. That means you've already gone 4 hours into the day. And a normal working day is 8 hours. And if by that time you're already halfway through the day, it means by midday you're done. You're
tired.
You're tired. You're over. You're ready to pack your bags and go home. You can't expect yourself to work with the same energy levels that you had when you woke up at 4 a.m. So it's always good to plan and make sure that your days are organized. Have a healthy routine. And I work out a lot. I run, I exercise, I go to the gym, I do the stairs, whatever helps me to sort of zone out. And for me and my husband, we also make time, because we are both working at home and we work a lot of long hours, but we always make sure to have time for each other. So having that, trying to have that balance between work, home, myself, and my marriage, but everything else needs to make sure that it goes the way it's supposed to go. And for us, we've also realized that, Friday for us is, we knock off at Friday around 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. we are done. Then we have date night. Whether we're having date night at home or having date night, leaving the kids somewhere, whatever it is, but we try to make sure that we've got time for ourselves. And he has his own way of unwinding, where he gets 2 hours of uninterrupted time for him to do what he wants, whether he's at home or he's running or he's doing whatever it is. And I give myself the same time. So when it comes to mental health, always have those checks in place to say, what helps me to stay, within a healthy state of mind. And for me, it's always been routine. It's always been making sure that my days are planned and they're organized, because I don't work well under pressure. And the third thing is always to make time for myself, whether I'm taking time to Netflix and unwind, whether I'm taking time to work out, but just having 2 to 3 hours where there's no one just going, mommy, 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 mommy. That really doesn't.
I can relate. Thank you so much for that. And our final question would be, can you encourage the young people who are wanting to start what you've done? I talk to 20-year-olds who are like, Anna, I'm scared, I'm too old. And I'm like, wow, girl, I'm still experimenting in the 30s and you're telling me I'm too old. So can you say a word of encouragement for those who know they actually have a passion or they have a gift or a dream to start their own business or do content creation, but fear fear is making them
Oh,
stop
wow.
um, and be satisfied with their everyday jobs. So yeah, take us through that.
I think what people don't realize is that fear is a state of mind. And if
Mm,
you don't manage that mindset, it goes back to what we're talking about with mental health. If you don't manage your mindset, and if you're not kind to yourself, the words that you speak to yourself to say, I can do this or I can't do this, the moment you say those words to yourself, they have a level of impact. So I'd like to say, for me in my case, I started my YouTube channel at 34 years. I mean, a
mm,
whole 34-year-old trying to do YouTube. And I started doing TikTok this year at 36. A whole 36-year-old trying to do TikTok, competing with
mm,
16-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 21-year-olds for the same audience. And I think really, if I can do it, then you can do it. I mean, when I look at how I started, I honestly have had conversations with myself to say, but what are you doing? Like, can you not see that you're too old for this? But no, I'm not too old, because I always like the story of the guy who started KFC. I've forgotten what his name is. So Kentucky, I don't know. I've forgotten his name. He's launched KFC at 60 years old.
yeah.
60. By the time he died, he was a billionaire, you know. So if someone at that age, I always remind myself that no, I'm right here and I'm starting something and I'm only 36. There's somebody who is 24 and I wish I was 24, because that means I've got a whole lot more time to try out. And the worst thing that you can do is not succeed, not fail. I don't like using the word fail. The worst thing that can happen is that it won't work out. But you're not going to die if your YouTube channel doesn't get 1,000 subscribers and it's not monetized. You're not going to die if your online store doesn't succeed. But what you get along the way is lessons, because this is
Yeah.
all trial and error,
Mm,
trying. I think you remember, Anna, when we both started our YouTube channels, even if you look
mm.
back now at the videos, that one of our first videos, you laugh and you cry. And you are so humiliated with yourself to say, what was I thinking? But our videos, yeah, so
Yeah.
the video content gets better over time because you're learning, you know. So
Mm,
if you are that person who's saying, I think I'm too old, I'm 25, or whatever it is, and I don't think I can do this, what I'm telling you is it's just a state of mind. You can start anything at any point in time. My mother right
mm.
now is turning 62, and she just started going to catering school. What does that
Wow.
tell you? She retired last year, and now she's learning how to be a chef. And I look at people like
Mm.
that, and it tells me a lot to say, you still have a lot of time, and allow yourself to explore who you are. Make all the mistakes that you're going to make, because that is how you learn, and you can only get better with time. And that is just, I guess that's all I can say at this point.
Guys, you can see why she inspires me. I'm like listening attentively. I should have actually said, get yourself a pen and a notepad and just take time to learn from Rufaro. But thank you so much for actually opening up and sharing what you learned along the way, because sometimes we are selfish and we keep that information to ourselves when it could actually make a difference in someone's life. And I wish you the best in the things you do. I'm always watching you and I'm like, this girl, can she stop? She is putting pressure on all of us.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea the sleepless night. I'm trying to get that money.
No, please keep doing that, because it's an inspiration to just see someone go for the things that they love, and believing that, what, once it's in their mind, they're going to make that dream come true. And I think we all need that, because once you do what you love, you're always fulfilled. You're not worried about everything else around you. And
You're not worried about that as well. And I think for me, when I started particularly, I think for me, most people that really want to know if they can do that, people want to do YouTube, not just online business, but people who are scared, well, maybe they're not confident enough, or they think they don't have a lot going on. But
yeah.
I remember when I started, I used to watch this. There are not a lot of Zimbabwean YouTubers, first of all. There are not a lot of Zimbabwean YouTubers out there. And the ones that are there, rest assured, they're 25 years and below. So when you're watching their content and you're thinking, okay, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can talk like that and say, all day long. It's not me. I can't do that,
Yeah.
And I remember I used to watch that type of content and think, can I create content and attract these people to come and watch my channel? And surprisingly, you always have an audience. Like everyone has the people that watch your channel that would never watch my channel, because you have your audience. And as long as you keep that in mind, then you'll know that you can do it. Anyone can do it, really.
Yeah, that's true. And I love something I saw on one of the days on your status, and you were saying something about being your authentic self, to say we're not called to be the same, but we're called to be unique. And I think that's the most important thing. Just know that there's something that you bring that no one else can bring. Like you're mentioning, we are both on YouTube, but we do different things. But there's always something to learn from each other. And this is why I thought I could call you on and encourage these young people who are thinking, oh my gosh, we're getting too old. And I'm like, wow, you should see me if you're thinking you're old. But what I've also found, because I love content creation, do you know, it's crazy. I was even saying there are moments where I'm walking and I'm just creating something like, oh my gosh, that's a good idea. Let me do it. So I also wanted to just encourage someone to say, once you start, it just continues to flow, right? But when you overthink, like, oh my gosh, what do I need? I use my phone up to now to record my videos. So it's just using what you know. Yeah, but before I thought you have to have a fancy camera, lighting, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start with what I have. So anyway, guys, I hope we encourage someone to do whatever they've been wanting to do for so long. If Rufaro could do it, you can definitely do it. Like, you should go check out her channel and see, because you will learn a lot from her. She educates people on different things to try out, study, shopping in Turkey, like she mentioned. And she's so thorough. I'm like, how long does it take you to do that research? Because you really does the research.
Sometimes it takes me 6 weeks. But one thing that the commitment that I've made to myself is that I never want to dish out information that I am not confident. If I can't put my stamp on it to say I'm the one who told you this, then I'm not going to put it out there. So you find that I try to draw as much as I can from my own experience. So I actually try out some of those things before I talk about them. So, you know, when I did the video about talking from China, I'm talking from something that I know about. Then, of course, you then have to ask other people and do research so that you can have as much useful information that you can as possible, and make it as accurate as possible. Because you also have to try out the platform. If someone comes onto your show and they say, I was watching Convos with Anna, and Anna was telling me about mental health, but I don't know if it's something that I can trust or not, then you're not doing justice to yourself and to your audience. You need to be confident with what you're putting out there. And that is why I always try to make sure that I take as much time as I can to research and to make sure that whatever I'm putting out there, even if it's not perfect, but someone can use it to make a decision.
Do your research. I guess that's the most important thing.
But even if you know that you're not well informed or well educated within a specific area, we're talking right now about starting a YouTube channel and starting an online business or whatever business that you have, then invest in yourself. I attend a lot of online courses for free online, and they don't even have to pay a cent, because there's so many people that are just like me who are ready to dish out information to say, this is how you can do this. There are a lot of tutorials online, a lot of books that you can read, so that even if you know you're not confident in a specific area, then learn, teach yourself how to do the certain things so that you can be confident in that area.
Yes, thank you so much, Rufaro, for sharing. There's a lot to learn from you, and I hope we are all inspired. Thank you, everyone, for also watching the video, and until next time, bye.